everyone, let's talk Roadhog. It's been a while since his changes, and he doesn't feel the same. Roadhog, I can't sing at all, as you guys made very clear my poor feelings. So, I wanted to talk about how I'm finding him now. I've played him a lot and seen how he's dealing with enemy heroes, fitting into a team, and how enemy heroes are dealing with him/me, and, well, the outlook is pretty grim. If Roadhog was one of those shaky balls that predict the future, it would say the outlook is pretty grim. I'm gonna prefix this with two sentences. Number one, he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. Number two, it feels like my favorite character has been removed from the game. And that is a crying shame, and it's really lame, and we know what's to blame. The rhythm of his firing. But it's more than that, it really is, because the saddest thing about being Hog now is you are just a walking joke. You really are. Nobody, and I mean nobody, respects you, and it is palpable while you are playing him. Everyone will try and fight you. Everyone will go for you. Nobody cares about your hook. Nobody's watching their positioning. You know it is bad when Winstons are jumping on Roadhogs like, I don't give a fuck. Come on, come at me. And that monkey on pig fight does not end how it should anymore. And it's just, it's sad. It is seriously sad. I cannot put it in better words than it feels like my favorite character is no longer in the game. Because everything about him just feels palpably different. So, I did also say he's not that bad, and I mean that in the context of, let's say, he was like a 7 out of 10 before. I thought he'd go to a 2 or a 3 out of 10. He's actually gone to like a 4.5, so it's still trash and you would never pick him, but it's not so trash that if you have an exceptionally good Roadhog player, even he can't make an impact. If you are still very good at Roadhog, you can still at least help, but there is just an overwhelming feeling of, I really could be playing someone else and doing so much better for much less of the effort. And yes, there is definitely a big part of it that is, he needs a shift in playstyle to be even slightly good again. And honestly, that shift is play more with your team, which a lot of people were using to balm the wounded hogs. But the thing is, your team doesn't give a shit about you. Ever! You're there playing ranked, you hook someone, and on voice you're like, I've got someone, please kill them. Nobody gives a fuck. And you know what else is bad? It's actually embarrassing playing as Roadhog now, because you can't say you have hooked someone after you've hooked them, because by the time you've spoke, it's gone through, it's registered in your teammates, they've turned to look at the dude and they've fired, well, he's already done 3 laps around the map. So you have to say, I'm going to hook this guy, please kill him. And what does that result in? Guys, I'm going for a hook. And then if you miss, you've basically just announced to everyone that you failed your hook. And while that is completely normal, you know, 50% hook ratio is average, it feels so terrible to be like, guys, I'm going for Lucio. Sorry, I missed him. And you have to keep saying that, and it's just so soul-crushing, because you can just feel the judge and the pressure. And even when you do hook, they don't turn. And let's forget about actual higher competitive, where you can at least hope that people will respond to voice comms. In lower down stuff and quick play, nobody gives a shit. And Roadhog himself makes no real indication that he has hooked someone. There is not enough of a show and dance around it. It should be louder. There should be a more notification thing when you hook someone. You know, like D.Va's triangle, when she ults, you can see it and it's blindingly obvious. There is D.Va ult going off. Roadhog's hook, for that to be effective in its current state with his pathetic tickle damage, literally, his weapon might as well fire butterflies for all the damage it feels like it does. But you need to have some screen indicator to allies that there is a hook happening, like a little holographic hook symbol appearing when the hook happens, and it moves in the path of the hook, and it appears at the corner of your screen, so you can look and see that somebody is hooked. Then you will start to train people to see that symbol and actually turn for a free kill. Then it's going to feel a little bit better, because right now you hook someone and they just kill you, or they at least attempt to kill you. Most of the time you can win the fight with proper aim, you certainly can, and I do. Side note, just sorry to interrupt, I noticed this while playing for the footage for this video. Why is one of the in-game fucking tips on Roadhog to ambush and flank people to pick them off with your hook? Which is the entire style of gameplay that they didn't want him doing, so that they nerfed him, making him impossible to do it because your damage is now a joke! Moving on, but the fact that they have the audacity to try and fight me on Roadhog, are you suicidal? That's what it used to be, and now it's like, cool, I've hooked you, let's have a 1v1, alright, go. And that is just not what he's about. What I will also say, though, is he has suddenly become a lot better at just generally whittling health down. Like, you stand on the front lines with your team and just keep blasting right clicks with the increased attack speed in the direction of enemies, you do actually start to really lower people, and you can really batter through barriers with that as well. I mean, he could do that before, but you definitely feel more suppressing fiery. But look at what I am saying. Yeah, Roadhog's a lot better at suppressing fire now. The dude with a huge scrap gun, one of his strengths is now generally firing into the team and lowering healths, like D.Va when she's at range, or Junkrat. That's not good, is it? In fact, it takes away from what he is lore-wise, because he's partners with Junkrat. Junkrat is the AoE Chaos Explosion. Roadhog is the precise individual I'ma kill you, whereas now the line between them is a little bit more blurred. Obviously, they're still very different characters, but you see what I'm getting at there. There is no lone psychopath that only trusts one person. This big, bruising, emanating of bloodlust character now spawns in Spawn, and instead of going, I don't care what you guys do, I'm gonna kill people, he now goes, hey everyone, if I was to hook an enemy, can you all help me kill it, because I can't do it myself? And it's like, Roadhog, come here, give me a hug, but don't kill me with your bare hands. It's so sad, and that's really the crux of the matter right now. He just is not the same character. He's so much weaker, not as weak as I thought, but still hilariously weak. His pick rate has plummeted from the already non-existent pick rate, and he is just a joke. He is absolutely a joke. He is only ever going to rise now, outside of being buffed himself, if a single enemy gets so strong that we end up back in the protect and kill the Genji meta. At least then, because of the hook, you can deliberately pick him off, and your team will react because they need to. But even in that situation, there's better heroes for shutting down a single enemy hero, so it's just Roadhog's turn to be trash, I guess, and I hate spotlight turn-based balancing. Alright, this patch, these 10 heroes get to be good. Cool, next patch, these 10 heroes get to be good, because it's so sad when your hero is one of the trash ones now, and you're just left thinking, this sucks. Like, I would not be surprised if people that only really enjoy playing as Roadhog and not really anyone else are just not playing right now. And that is a crying shame. It really is. So the TLDR, not as bad as it could have been. I still do fine on Roadhog, but nowhere near the same gameplay, the same fun, the same feel. And that's just how it is. My name has been Rage. Like you've enjoyed this, raise your candles in the air for Roadhog, and let's have a moment of silence.
Did someone call for this? They're in the area.
Coincidentally, that moment of silence is actually how long it now takes Roadhog to kill people. Goodbye. However, there is a little bit of hope in a kind of mammothly long and really quite insightful post by the Kaplan. He actually alludes to the fact that they may have overdone it with Roadhog. You know, may have just gone a little bit too far and he might need more changes. And admittedly, the idea of we're not trying to nerf or buff him, we're just trying to shift him away from being the one-shot guy, I can understand that as a balancing goal. But when shifting him away from the one-shot guy effectively shifts him away from, well, who he is as a character, is that really still right to do? See, the thing is, he does talk about player perception balancing, which is something I've railed against a long time. You don't give in to, we all think this guy is powerful. You go, is this guy actually powerful? Are his win rates too high? Is he statistically too strong? And then you change him. You don't balance to appease the hive mind. So it's really sad that he does talk about actually doing some perception balancing, but I guess you have to consider the health and happiness of the people playing your game, and perception is obviously a big part of that. But hopefully he does get a buff once again. I mean, honestly, if he can just reliably one-shot, you know, with the hook combo, 200 health and under, I think that puts him in a good place. He's a threat to the supports and the squishier assaults, so they've got to be wary of him. Everyone else can kind of fight him a little. That seems like a good place. And actually, he does kind of counter Doomfist a little, just because hooking him does get him killed effectively, because he relies so much on being able to just do things. But even in that circumstance, there are much better counters. You've been